And I would just like to share a few general comments about where we are. All of us have been confronting, whether we want to or not, I think some of us more realistically than others, the debt situation this nation faces. We are indeed borrowing 40 cents of every dollar that we spend. That is an unsustainable path. We've already had 3 consecutive years of deficits exceeding $1 trillion, and we're projected to have another $1 trillion deficit next year. We have done something about the spending problem America has. Is we calculate the numbers. We're down from $548 billion in actual money spent on the Defense Department last year to $527 billion this year, an actual reduction in non-inflation adjusted dollars of over $20 billion, which represents about a 5% reduction, 4% reduction in defense spending. Well, that's what all of our accounts should be doing. But indeed, that's not happening in the other aspects of discretionary spending, defense being the largest portion of discretionary spending in the Congress. The other agencies and departments aren't showing a reduction at all. Indeed, they're showing an increase. Even after non-defense discretionary spending increased 24% in the first 2 years under President Obama. The Defense Department now is working on a total reduction in spending of $489 billion more, which is about 10% of what we would expect to spend in the next 10 years. And that's because of the Budget Control Act that we passed in August that required reductions in spending in the discretionary accounts, and the choices so far have been to reduce defense spending far more than the other accounts. In addition, if the Deficit Committee, the 12 of the supercommittee members, if they do not reach an accord, we all need to understand that there would be an automatic sequester. And many people thought, and I think senators probably thought, that if that were to be done, it would be done across the board in an equal way. Not so. If that happens, $600 additional billion would be taken out of the defense, and items such as food stamps, Medicaid, earned income tax credit, Social Security, all of those would have no reductions. All accounts need to be tightened. Every agency and department's got to tighten its belt, including the Defense Department. But not disproportionately so. Admiral Mullen said that if this were to occur, it would hollow us out. It could break the Defense Department and our military. I would quote, Mr. President, from former Secretary Robert Gates, who served President Bush and President Obama. Just a few days ago, he said this: "I think, frankly, the creation of this super committee was a complete abdication of responsibility on the part of the Congress. It basically says, this is too hard for us. Give us a BRAC. Give us a package where all you have to do is vote it up or down, and I don't have to take any personal responsibility for any of the tough decisions." So now we're left with this sword of Damocles hanging over the government, hanging over defense. And if these cuts are automatically made, I think the results for our national security would be catastrophic. Close quote. I think that's fundamentally correct, that we are proceeding in a path that disproportionately impacts the Defense Department and would be damaging in a way that's not necessary and should not happen. A lot of these other programs have been surging out of control with problems after problems, whether it's Solyndra loans that were made apparently knowing the company is going under. Those kind of things we need to focus on, and to suggest they can't have any cuts and all the cuts have to fall on defense or a disproportionate number of them is a mistake. And I'm a firm believer that the Defense Department and every department of our government has got to tighten its belt, and we cannot continue as business as usual, and we should be having reductions in spending in every single bill that's coming before us. But I'm afraid, Mr. President, the only bill that will actually show an actual reduction in spending is a defense bill. Well, we got men and women in harm's way right now on guard to defend our country. And I feel that we need to get our act together.